call to order the LIU Board of Directors meeting for November the 5th. The board met an executive session prior to the meeting to discuss a personnel matter. Let us stand for the pledge of allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much, and thank you for coming out on this election night. I don't know why we always meet on election night, but we do. May we have a roll call, please?
Sue Heaston. Here. Brian Huffman. Justin Martin.
Here.
Patrick McDonald.
Here.
Corey Nade.
Here.
Dolores Nestor. Paul Politis.
Here.
Scott Rowland. Mark Shore.
Here.
Suzanne Smith. Michael Wagner.
Here.
Carlos Wampler.
Here.
Michael Miller.
Here.
10 present.
Thank you very much. Are there any visitors who would like to address the board? Seeing none. We are going to have a presentation from Dr. Laura McCusker to provide an update on the comprehensive plan.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Dr. Laura McCusker. I'm the Assistant Director of Educational Services under Dr. Brad Sterner, and I have the pleasure of working with comprehensive planning. And so this time last year, in September, October, and November, the board was presented with an update. And so at this time, we are going to look at a progress update as well. So you have received a packet that has the same information, which I will be sharing tonight. So our overarching goals for the comprehensive plan are the same that have continued since the inception of the plan in 2016. The Lincoln Intermediate Unit will become one organization, be financially sustainable, and focused on quality and growth. You can find those same goals in your packet on the bottom of page 4 as well. All LIU Administrative Division SMART goals have been tied to these organizational goals since the inception of the plan also. Today we're here to talk about monitoring of our progress. Our 3-year plan ends in 2021, June 30th. So we'll review our 3 goals here, which also can be found on the bottom of page 4. Goal 1 for operations looks at establishing a system fully ensuring the intermediate unit actively investigates viable opportunities for funding that increases the likelihood that the IU's mission and vision will be fully met. So as this time last year in fall of 2018, here was a status report of our action planning steps. These are the same action planning steps that begin on page 5 of your packet. So as of fall 2018, these implementation steps that were coded as green were completed, yellow were in process, and red had not yet been started. And so moving forward and looking at this year, fall 2019, we have created a tactical group of leadership to include the assistants and each division director. On page 5 in the box, you'll see that the update is that the tactical team continues to meet monthly and includes the assistant directors of each division. This group carries out the assigned tactical items set forth from the cabinet level, and the interim assistant executive director serves as the liaison to this group. So that action step remains green for completed. Last year, we had also moved through a family finance team. So that remains as a completed action step as well. This was a group formed early in our comprehensive planning process. And so the work that was started there was completed in August 2016. And the special education and business services meet weekly to continue this effort. The work of the family finance team provided the impetus to centralize the business office as well. Establishing the role of committed project leads among leadership team members in order to increase capacity. The label of committed project leads, or CPLs, is used for organization-wide projects to ensure clear communication and shared leadership. This continues to be completed and used as one of our strategies. Under operations, we've also reviewed, revised, and implemented all operational policies and practice according to the schedule that was set forth. As you know, there are policies and procedures that are put forth to this board regularly on a schedule. So we are still on that schedule through administrative regulations and policies. They are shared with staff and are pushed out through safe schools and through leadership teams. Since the last update of the board last fall, there also has been a software implementation plan adopted so that we have a plan for implementation for multiple software updates between technology and business services. The final piece from the operations goal number 1 was designing a framework that addresses the development of the LIU business plan. So at this time, this has become in progress because a draft of the LIU business plan was presented to Dr. West and is being discussed at the cabinet level. Our second goal for the comprehensive plan was focused on instruction. Here is where we were establishing a system within the intermediate unit that fully ensures the consistent implementation of effective instructional practices across all classrooms at each IU learning site, including those classrooms associated with adult learners. As of last fall, these were the implementation steps and their progress. And as of today, for fall of 2019, when looking at the language and literacy acquisition professional learning action step, this has been moved to being in progress. The IU is planning to work with January 2020 in service to reinstitute that as a vehicle to deliver this language and literacy acquisition. So this is a professional learning step required by Chapter 4. In addition to Chapter 4, we have meeting the needs of the diverse learners in the inclusive classroom. This is completed because last year, in 2018-2019, special education staff members received professional learning on trauma-informed practices funded by the York County System of Care. The final action step under the inclusion goal was Project Max ongoing implementation. Project Max is an optimizing practices in the following areas for students with complex instructional needs. It's about looking at the alternative eligible content so that students with the most needs can access the general education brought forth by the PA core standards. So the update there is that LIU 12 teams are still moving through the Project Max system. Most teams are in their second year. We also still invite districts to partner with us through that training. So that is still a completed action step. Finally, our third goal on professional education remains that we will establish a system within the intermediate unit that fully ensures professional development and other adult ed offerings are based on sound research and promising practices. They are focused on the needs of professional employees. They are comprehensive and are implemented with fidelity in order to meet the specific needs of the IU employees and other adult learners. So under Goal 3, as of fall 2018, here were our action steps and their progress. Now for fall 2019, the first action step, we have established an IU Professional Education Committee. This committee was reconvened in October 2019 to meet once a month. We'll talk about that a little further. The next action step about a survey being created, administered by two IU staff, analyzed and used to determine the priority of needs for professional learning. This is in progress, as this is on deck for our January in-service. So this survey is to be given to all staff during the 2019-2020 school year following the January 20th in-service. The next action step was to determine a protocol for developing individual learning plans to establish professional learning triggers for needed training. Now that the IU Professional Education Committee is intact and meeting again. This is something that's on their agenda to be viewed as soon as the January 2020 in-service moves forward. The final piece, providing differentiated professional learning opportunities, is still remains completed. EduPlanet course offerings are asynchronous opportunities, as well as our face-to-face differentiated pieces are advertised and shared internally and externally throughout the school year. Another way to view our progress, on page 10, you'll notice that there is a chart of these 3 goals as well. You'll see goal 1, all of the tasks have moved to the green completed or yellow in progress columns. If you turn the page to page 11, goal 2, all of the action steps have moved to completed and in progress. And goal 3 on professional learning, you'll notice the same. I do have a place for questions later, but that was a lot of information. So does anyone have a question they would like to ask at this point before I move forward? Yes.
For the EduPlanet on page 10, are they? Is it being utilized?
It is being utilized. Currently, there are more external customers than internal customers. This was brought to the attention when Dr. West came on board. So we've been working specifically with the LIU president, Danielle Thompson, to make sure that all of the Act 48 opportunities through the online platform of EduPlanet are regularly advertised. And that's one main goal of establishing this IU Professional Education Committee. We'll continue for now. The Act 48 Professional Education Committee has been reconvened, as I mentioned. This is part of PA code. So school code does require that there are specific members that are parts of this. You're probably familiar with this from a district standpoint. So this language does apply more to a district than our unique setup here. But what's happening right now is that the LIU is holding elections for teacher representatives and educational specialists. And so there is a ballot right now of 5 specialists and 5 teacher representatives. And so they are being nominated. We also have administrative representatives chosen by our leadership team that are part of this committee. And then we're asking for your suggestions and your help to pass along invitations to parents, local business representatives, community representatives, any members of the board are welcome to join this group as well. This is a group that meets from 3:30 to 5 p.m. once a month, typically the second Monday or Tuesday, and there is a Zoom video option as well. And so that is a committee that I lead out of Educational Services, and we would be happy to have you. My contact information is at the on page 12 at the end if you do have some folks you would like to send along or invite or get me in touch with. Before the ballots and all of the official committee members have been established, here are the natural volunteers that have already served or volunteered to serve their time on this committee. And so you can see that there is a nice cross-section through these 17 members of divisions, of their departments, of their assignments, of their roles. And so we're very happy with that. You'll see that there is a short link for an invitation to join the committee if you are inclined. And then again, my contact information is at the bottom of this slide here as well. So that serves, again, the Professional Education Committee as one large component of an action step that still remains for our comprehensive plan. So implementation of our current plan continues through June 30th of 2021. As you can see, we are on track to, move things forward, and we've at least started all of the action steps that are in our plan. So at this point, it's making sure that we're completing them all and seeing them through. What has changed is that now with the release of Future Ready PA Index, there will be Future Ready PA comprehensive planning. So IU12 is a phase 2 LEA. Some schools are a phase 1 or districts and others are a phase 3. And so the timing of ours is not changed. However, the methodology that's being used is new. You may have seen this cycle of improvement before if you're familiar with and working under with a school or a district that's been working with school improvement over the last year. Schools that were designated for comprehensive school support and improvement and additional targeted or ATSI, comprehensive support and improvement, already have seen this cycle. This is Leyland and Corbett's model that PDE has adopted for school improvement. And so at this point, now they're ready to roll it out in January to all schools that are going through the comprehensive planning process. So we'll be looking this year at setting the direction, assessing needs, and creating a plan. The template that we've seen that's offline for now, the portal will go live in January, has a ready, set, go to it. So ready is about setting the direction. Here's again where we'll look at who are the stakeholders that we have. And we're really looking at the idea of meeting a diverse and a wide group of stakeholders for the comprehensive planning process. So that's a new push where we'll really, again, accept any nominations from the board of anyone that would like to be involved in this work. The second step is assessing needs, which includes a brand new needs assessment. And so the needs assessment is based on the essential practices. Along with PDE's cycle of improvement, they have also adopted the essential practices, which are ways to look at now a systems level approach. If you've been following if you've been following school improvement efforts, they've been at the school level because there are designated schools for improvement. So this is the same essential practices, but you'll notice two differences. One is that we're looking at how well is the organization allocating resources strategically and equitably. What is the focus on continuous improvement of instruction? How are we empowering leadership? How are we providing student-centered supports? And how are we implementing data-driven human capital strategies? So the board will be hearing as the work of the Comprehensive Planning Committee moves through the needs assessment, as well as we have stakeholders help us by completion of surveys or focus groups or any combination of the above, so that we make sure that we have the most voice that we can for the stakeholders that we serve in planning this new comprehensive plan. The third step would be to create a plan. So those are the pieces that we are looking at to move forward. Then, of course, after it is accepted, we would implement the plan, monitor the plan, and adjust course. So our current plan will be due, our new plan will be due on November 30th of 2020. So that means that the Committee for Comprehensive Planning has been reconvened as well. Meeting Novembers, again, I'm leading that one, starting in November, this November to next November, about once a month, again at 3:30 to 5 o'clock on the third Tuesday or Monday of the month. Please let me know if you would be interested in joining us. We look forward to bringing a wonderful array of stakeholders together. Our timeline for developing the new comprehensive plan under the Future Ready model is that this November, we would develop our committee and review the template that's currently offline for the comprehensive planning process. In December, we would complete part 1 of the new template. This is mostly demographic information. January and February is when we would complete that needs assessment with the essential practices. So here's where we would look mostly at a lot of the data that's coming to us from the state level, from internally, and then we're also looking to our stakeholders to inform the needs assessment. Once that needs assessment is there, we will look at part 3, which is go. You'll notice that under the cycle for improvement, evidence-based strategies hold lots of power. So we will be looking at a root cause analysis for some of the pieces that come out of the needs assessment. And then we will be looking towards evidence-based strategies that will help us set measurable goals And then those goals will be implemented and they will be monitored through the rest of this cycle of improvement. So I'm very excited to undertake this new piece. I have been working with the 7 designated ATSI schools, the 1 designated CSI school, and then 4 additional schools across the state in school improvement. So I've been watching this work and kind of steeped in it since Future Ready PA Index was live last year. So we're very excited to take kind of some fresh eyes with a fresh process to look through comprehensive planning. Here is our Natural Comprehensive Planning Committee. We would like to, so this was from the, again, the internal invitation. So we are going to send this out to some stakeholders in our footprint. But we would also invite you to join or contact me with those that you think might be interested in this work. As we convene this group this month, we'd like to, talk to them a little bit more about the stakeholders' importance and make sure that we have a very robust committee here. This committee will be working hand in hand with the Professional Education Committee as well to make sure that we are meeting those pieces as best we can. Questions?
I would just make a comment. And first of all, I want to thank Dr. McCusker for taking the lead on this for us. She's done an outstanding job bringing us along. And also, I want to make sure that we thank the Comprehensive Planning Committee for stepping up and being willing to volunteer. So please, as Laura had said, if you think of someone who you think would be good, we want to have as many stakeholders involved on this committee as possible. So as you think of somebody, please let her know, whether it be you or somebody within your district or somebody that you think would be good to serve on the committee. Please let her know so that we can get as many different folks involved as we can. But as you can see, we're making progress. I think really good progress on the comprehensive plan. It's going to be exciting about moving forward with a new model and what that's going to look like going forward. So staff have worked really hard, I think, at trying to address the comprehensive plan. It really has kind of been the roadmap for me this year as far as what my goals were that I shared with the board earlier, and kind of will be updating you as we move throughout the year, because it really is all tied to the same thing. So not only are my goals there, but everybody else's goals are all tied to that as well. So I want to thank everybody for all their efforts.
Thank you, Doctor. Next item is the minutes of the October 1st meeting were distributed to the board. Are there any corrections or additions that you would like to make to the minutes? Hearing none, then the minutes will stand as submitted and are approved. The consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve all recommendations listed on the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and second. Is there any item that anyone would like to remove for individual consideration? Hearing none. Is there any discussion on the items that are within the consent agenda?
I just have a quick question. Under change of an employment status, it seemed to me that most of these were salary adjustments or work calendar adjustments. Is there a reason why there was so many this month? Is it just, I mean, not that there was a great difference in dollar, I just was curious on why there's all those different changes.
So for the work calendar adjustments, the needs of the departments changed a little bit, and some of that had to do with also benefit driven. So when we discussed with the different supervisors, the level of benefits that they were eligible for changed a little bit depending on the hour. So that was another piece that we talked with them about when it comes to the work calendar adjustment. There is one salary correction, so that one was an error in the original salary, and then we had some column movements.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Are we ready to vote? May we have a roll call vote, please?
Sue Heaston,
Yes.
Dustin Martin,
Yes.
Patrick McDonald,
Yes.
Corey Nade, Dolores Nestor,
Yes.
Paul Politis, Mark Shore,
Yes.
Michael Wagner,
Yes.
Carlos Wampler,
Yes.
Michael Miller.
Yes.
We have 10 in favor.
Next item on the agenda is affiliation agreement with Bloomsburg University. You received the information in your packet. Is there a motion to approve the affiliation agreement with Bloomsburg?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved in second. Discussion on this particular item. Are you ready to vote? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions? The motion passes. The next item is resignation and separation agreement. You received that packet. Is there a motion to accept the resignation of Lisa Greth with the corresponding separation agreement? Is there a second? Been moved in second. Any discussion on the item? May we have a roll call vote, please?
Sue Houston,
Yes.
Dustin Martin,
Yes.
Patrick McDonald,
Yes.
Corey Nade, Mark Shore,
Yes. You're the only one on.
Oh, now we're on.
Oh, now we're back.
We're back. Well done, Jim.
Thank you. The next item is approval of mayor ballot election and notification of board vacancy holder. You received the documents in your packet, and this is to grant approval to conduct the annual election by mail ballot to notify all the school districts. Is there a motion to approve this?
So moved.
Is there a second? Is there discussion on the item?
I guess I have a question for the solicitor. I note that the district's reply date is February 21st for nominations for the ballots for the 4 vacant positions. Where did that, until then, the IU board, I think, would have 9 elected members on it.
That is correct.
And what does that do to a quorum of the board moving forward? Is it of 9, 5 of 9?
It is
Of
correct.
the current seated members?
Of the seated members, correct.
Thank you.
Yes. I believe it's a requirement of school code.
Well,
Yeah.
in addition, this is an elected board, not an appointed board, correct?
Correct.
All 24, 25 school districts vote on the board of directors of this board. through this process. So it's really a difference of being appointed for me to be on the VOTEC authority.
Correct.
Rather than it's so, and we can't have substitutes come to this board from our district because they don't have voting authority by being elected by the majority of the 25 district board members.
Correct.
I believe it's been moved and seconded, and there's a motion on the floor. Is there any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The next item is proposal for roof repairs. Mr. Stanton, I believe you have a big building here that only needs $6,000 worth of repair. So I am assuming it's not a complete replacement. It's a cut and paste here and there.
That's correct. And there's a lot of work, mainly on water drainage, of repairing how the water flows into the gutter system. And a lot of it, if you look at the proposal, the 15 bullet points that they're repairing, a lot of it is the flashing around the edges of the roof have lifted up and they're securing the flashing and that type of thing.
By doing this repair, we will reduce future costs.
Yes, sir. That's correct.
Thank you. Too much Pennsylvania Dutch. Okay, that is the proposal that you received. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there discussion on this particular item? May we have a roll call vote, please?
Yes.
Dustin Martin,
Yes.
Patrick McDonald,
Yes.
Corey Nade,
Yes.
Dolores Nestor,
Yes.
Paul Politis,
Yes.
Mark Shore,
Yes.
Michael Wagner,
Yes.
Carlos Wampler,
Yes.
Michael Miller,
Yes.
10 in favor.
The next item is the president's report. Your negotiating committee met last month, and Mr. Z, as our legal counsel, will give us an update. He is also our chief negotiator.
Thank you. Yes, we met on October 24th to hold our initial meeting. That accomplished two things. One is we have a requirement to meet with our mediator prior to February, so we wanted to make sure we got that done. That did occur. She attended our meeting, and she intends to participate in all of the sessions moving forward to the extent schedules allow. That meeting was not substantive in the sense that we really only went over ground rules that evening. We set dates for an electronic exchange of initial proposals, which is set for January, and then we also coordinated schedules for both of the bargaining units for meetings moving forward through May. Essentially, the way it works out is it's basically every other week, not exactly that. Through May. Hopefully we won't need to go through May for all those, but we set those. And the administration now is working on compiling the information for that initial proposal exchange, which again will occur in January.
And if I could just give a quick update on that. So Jill sent around a doodle poll, and so Dr. Sensenig, Tim and I are meeting weekly or every other week to begin to look through the agreements and look through the language and start to begin to put some kind of a framework together that we will bring to the group sometime in the future. I'd be happy to. Just a couple updates. The Special Education Task Force has completed a draft of their business rules, and so we're in the process of convening the Special Education Task Force one final time to go through and look at the business rules and review those. Once they give us their approval to move forward, the plan is to take those to the superintendents at the SAC meeting in November. And then once they've had a chance to look those over, then we will go to the different job alikes in January and meet as a team with each of those different groups, let them review the business rules, and then be prepared to move forward with those and put them in place for this next year. So that's kind of the timeline for the work we've been doing there. We had a really good superintendent fall symposium at Bedford Springs. I want to thank Jill for all her work putting that together. That is a lot of time and effort, and it went off perfectly. Lots of good feedback from superintendents. Dr. Mike McGuff was our main person there. He did a session on personal leadership and leadership lessons from Flight 93. So I think everybody had a really good day and a half and came away feeling really positive about that. Dr. Sensening and I have put together a tentative timeline for the assistant executive director position. We now have a timeline in place, the tasks, the processes. We're putting together the interview team, so that is moving along nicely, and so I can give you some updates in the future on that. The retirement dinner is scheduled, of course, in the reorganization meeting for November 26th. And then I will be attending the Superintendent Academy. I was chosen to be a member of their 4th cohort to get my Act 45 hours that are required by Pennsylvania that I never had to do in Nebraska, so that was something new to me. So I'll be doing that this Thursday and Friday. So because I'll be gone, and because we had a board meeting tonight, I probably will not send a weekly update on Friday unless something happens that I think you really need to know about. But basically, you're hearing the update that I would put in that on Friday as well. And that's my update. And then you have in front of you the invitation so that we know if you're going to attend. So if you could please fill that out and let us know so we can plan on dinner and all of that, we'd appreciate it. Thank you.
Are we going to meet back here then after the dinner?
After the, yeah, we'll meet at the Altman House and then we'll come back here for the meeting. Correct.
In recent past history, we had it catered here as a cost-saving measure. Why was the decision made by administration to go to the Outland House?
Yeah, in conversations I had with Jill, in the past it had been done, I think 17 was the first year we brought it back here, it's my understanding. But then when we looked at the cost, and it was even catered by the Altland House, even when you brought it here, you were still charged the same cost for the meal. So it wasn't any cheaper bringing it here than it was there. And then by the time, as I understand it, we looked at decorations and flowers on the tables and those kinds of things. I don't believe there was a significant savings to do it here versus doing it there. So I guess my decision was, let's go to a restaurant and have something nice, and it's not costing us really anything more than it did when it was here. So that's why I made the decision to move it to the Altland House.
If someone could not attend the dinner, at what time could we expect the meeting to be convening here?
At our regular time. Okay, cabinet reports. Jared, you want to start us off, please?
Sure, since I gave away my microphone, I'm not sure where it is. I'm going to move over. Okay, so good evening, everyone. A great update from our Lincoln Cyber Cafe program. I think it's important to make a point. I know these are on our cabinet reports, and we try to give an update, but just some recent conversations with some of your district leadership across the entire IU. We know that marketing efforts need to be a significant effort that we have here at the IU. We need to do a better job of making sure that you all know the great work and services that we are conducting here. And one of the things that's a great highlight that many of our districts don't realize we have is our own online cyber school that many of your students are actually attending. Our enrollment at this point in the year, comparative to prior years, is up 42 students. Now, when you think about that in your own school district, think about an elementary school that would perhaps grow by 42 students in one school year. That implies changes to staffing, it implies guidance, nursing services that may change. So it's really a great testament to the work in programming that our supervisor, Mr. Alan Moose, is doing to advocate for the students and their needs, but it's also a great service to you and the districts in terms of being able to save on what it would cost for those students to go out to a cyber charter school, which is at least double the cost. And in many cases, it's quadruple if it's a special needs student. So we have a case manager that is actually in the special education division that is actually working with the students that have IEPs. So we're providing the services that we believe are far better than what a cyber charter school would be able to offer, and our success rates are testament to that as well. So just thought I would share that information for you to share back with your boards as well. Thank you.
Jared, what's the total enrollment of that?
Right now we're over
42.
right now we're over 70 students at this point of the year, and we're not even at a point where we're just at that first marking period. We expect to be over 100 students in our cyber school by the end of the school year. So, last year this time we were in the 30 to 40 range, and it's just amazing the number of students. Due to attrition, we have students that graduate, and sometimes it takes a little while for them to decide they're going to continue in the program, or new enrollees decide that this is the path they want to go. Sometimes it takes a marking period for that to happen.
So it's both regular ed and special ed?
It's both, yes, and we go all the way down to kindergarten now.
Do you know what the breakout is between special ed and regular ed?
I can share. Actually, I can share with you. I'll pull. We just pulled a bunch of statistics of grade levels. I don't have them with me. I do apologize. Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure.
Now that we have you, I guess following up on Paul's, is it almost a floating entry and departure for
Yes.
the program? So a student.
Sorry, I'm
Could be there
completing
till
your. I'm
19 or
completing your
20.
sentence.
Right,
I'm sorry.
yeah. Okay.
We actually have to. You have to partner with us. We do not accept students who the district does not want or wish those students to go. We want to honor those requests because, as you know, with your cyber charter school, students will go. They'll spend 3 years there, and they'll come back with 0 credits to show for it. And so, all of our course curricula are vetted and signed off on by your guidance departments, so that when students do come back, if they took geometry in our Lincoln Edge program, they will come back and have that geometry credit actually accredited to their transcript.
I guess part of my question is there a little more flexibility on completing the number of credits for graduation outside of the typical August 1st to June 1st school year?
The calendar year is absolutely more flexible. We do try to stay within the semesters because we do want students to have the ability to come back to their traditional school. Naturally, our goal is what your goal is, getting them back in the seats in your classroom. And if that's possible, if they are physically and medically able to do that, we don't want such a flexible calendar. It's tough because a lot of these students are leaving because of lack of flexibility. So we want to try to be able to keep them on schedule to be able to come back in and assimilate within your own environment. You're welcome. Thank you.
Dr. Murphy.
Good evening, everybody. So persons with disabilities are typically 50% more likely to be victims of crime or to be taken advantage of. And so understanding this, we do have some programs, especially with our artistic support program, that has an opportunity to focus on how to be safe, not just within school, keep your hands to self, those types of things, but also how to be safe outside of school. And in the report, you'll see that one of Lincoln Way's elementary autistic support classrooms that we host had dedicated October, the month, to safety. And that included not just being safe in school, but also being safe while you're out, and how to know when someone's being unsafe to you. And it's something that we start in the elementary grades and we work on forward. And this one also included how to be safe trick-or-treating as well, since that's a big activity of elementary school students. And we continue that throughout our high school years. Another thing I wanted to draw your attention to in the report is that we have a celebrity among us, if you will, a young lady by the name of Amory Brown. She attends the classroom that's located here in this building and works with transitioning to life skills, or transitioning into life after high school. Well, she has also been awarded through Special Olympics award for weightlifting. And you'll see in the report how much she does bench press, about 125 pounds, and deadlifts 300 pounds. and she's a delightful person. And she's going on to the Hershey to participate in the next level up of championships. She is from Hanover, and so if you ever get an opportunity to meet Anne Marie, wish her luck and congratulate her. Thank you.
Tracy, do you have anything you want to update us on HR?
Sure. Hello. Just to let you know some of the things that we're working on in human resources. One of the things is updating our job descriptions. So you will continue to see those monthly at every board meeting until we can get those updated and reviewed and adopted by the board. So you will see those for a while, and then we will get them on a cycle to review every 4 years. So, but you will see a lot of them initially. We are also working on developing some consistent policies and procedures within the department and offering consistent support to our supervisors within the IU. Another piece of that is building relationships with the human resources departments within the districts. So one of the tasks we were asked to do is to plan a job alike or HR consortium meeting. So we do have that scheduled for Monday, November the 18th. So that will give me an opportunity to meet a lot of the HR directors that I've worked with through emails, actually be able to work with them in person. So we are really excited for that because that has been something they've asked for and we have not done it in a while. And then after the first of the year, we will begin working on an employee manual for our employees. So we have a lot of big projects we're currently working on. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're
Mr. Stanton?
On the next board meeting, the end of this month, I'm hopeful to get to you next year's general fund budget. And so there won't be any action item. I believe it's November 25th, but it would just be a presentation. And then you can ponder that presentation until January. And then January will ask for action from the board. And then if you approve that general fund budget in January, we'll send that out to the districts for the districts to vote on it. So I just want to let you know that hopefully that should be coming your way at the next board meeting. The other thing I'll mention is the school districts, as you're well aware, pay the IU for special education services, but then we return to you a tremendous amount of money for some of that cost that you pay through us because we process claims through the access system, and some of your districts don't do that anymore because it's so difficult, so cumbersome, time consuming, very heavily regulated that for some districts it's not worth their time to do it. But we do that on behalf of the districts for the services that we provide you. And within the last week, we refunded you $3 million worth of money that came back through the access system. So that helps offset some of the costs that the districts had previously paid the IU. So I wanted to mention that. And that access reimbursement system is currently within the special education department of the IU that processes all those claims that are available for reimbursement. We still have auditors on site, independent auditors auditing the fiscal year 19 financial reports that we put together. Last board meeting, you voted to replace our 29-year-old van that we had with a new Ford Transit van. So we received that Ford Transit van, I think within a week or a week and a half of that board action. So that is the new Ford Transit van is in service and very much appreciated. And the other thing I'll mention, our joint purchasing board saved the districts last year $4,521,000 through the joint purchasing program through a combination of energy savings as well as supply commodities for the school districts. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Sterner.
Hi, good evening. What I would like to report on is all around collaboration. This month, or actually in October, we have our network meeting groups, each of our cabinet members here. The group that I oversee is called CC Reps, or the Curriculum Council. So that would be all of your assistant superintendents, assistants to the superintendents, and directors of curriculum. So we meet together each month. And Dr. Murphy also has her networking group called SEEK, which is the special ed directors or supervisors of special education. In October, we wanted to collaborate together, Dr. McCusker, myself, Dr. Murphy, and Dr. Hom wanted to plan a joint networking group together focused on mental health awareness and trauma-informed practices, since that is something that is really hitting our school districts. So we combined both our network groups together, and we had a great turnout. And what we did is we developed a keynote, and then we also had a conference type setup where they could go to different breakout sessions to learn a little bit more about trauma-informed practices. It was very well received. Dr. Murphy, Dr. McCusker, and I are thrilled with the feedback that we got from the meeting. So I definitely think this is something we're going to keep going. We went a couple years where we didn't do this, but I think it's definitely something we're going to keep doing. Along those lines, in November for our CC Rep meeting, we're taking the show on the road, and we're being hosted at Conewago Valley School District at their Colonial Career and Technology Center. We'll be holding our meeting there. Dr. West just had one of his SAC meetings there, where our focus is going to be on career readiness, and all of our CC Rep members are going to be getting a tour of the facility. So we're really excited about that continued collaboration across districts and internally within our cabinet. Thank you.
So moved.